Hi, everybody. My name is Millie. Hope you can hear me well. Um, I'm just going live. I don't know actually if anybody will, join me here. Probably not, because I'm a tiny little YouTube channel. But I just have some thoughts on the new MacBooks and the MacBook Pro and the Mac Mini. Um, and I find it really interesting what they made or put out with this M1 chip. And I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm curious what you think. Um, I'm running this on my MacBook Pro 16-inch, late 2019. And I have to say I'm quite happy with the MacBook Pro 16-inch. I got the GPU upgrade. I think it's the 8 gigabyte version. It's the 550M 8 gigabyte, and the 16 gigabytes of RAM. Um, it's a good machine, but something that really annoys me is uh, the noise it makes. Probably you can hear it now. As soon as you do something remotely intensive, the fans kick in, and it's really annoying. Um, it also gets really hot to the touch, like working. I don't know. I always have a bad feeling. Now I'm touching the MacBook, like the top part here above the keyboard, and it's really hot. And I I'm not really doing something intense. I just use the webcam, and that's all. Uh, but also another point is that I spent over 3 grand on this machine, and now it looks like I could get the same performance, more or less the same performance. Uh, for 1 grand for the MacBook Air, or in my case, most probably I would go with the Mac Mini for now, just the base system, and just use my old monitor and keyboard and mouse, uh, and sell this old MacBook Pro. I mean, I already put it up here on our version of Craigslist, and let's see if somebody's interested. I mean, it's a really good machine, but I mainly use it for Final Cut editing and Photoshop, Capture One, and photo editing, basically photo and video editing. But I don't really use Windows on this machine. I don't need to be able to emulate or to run Windows or play games on this machine. I just want a good editing machine, and my new camera is the Fujifilm X-T4. And when I use the 10-bit codec, the 4K codec, um, I think it's 420 10-bit. It runs well, it does a good job, but it's getting so hot and it's getting so loud that I think I would just be better off with a MacBook Air or even a Mac Mini for now, and then see maybe in a few months or a year they will come up with a 16 inch MacBook Pro with better M2 or whatever the process will be. But to be honest, if everything is true, what the other people do on YouTube in their testing and so on, then I think the performance is good enough for me. So I'm really thinking of selling my MacBook Pro 16-inch and just buying a a Mac Mini, and just be happy with that. And well, I don't think this MacBook Pro will be worth as much in 2 years when maybe I want to sell it. Uh, I think it's better I sell it now if I can. If I can, I mean, if I can sell it for more or less good price, then I will sell it. And if I see that people are not ready to pay, a good price for it, then I will keep it. But I'm kind of very excited about the new M1 chip, and well, I hope somebody somebody would go live and wanted to chat with somebody somehow, but of course, why should anybody join me here? Anyhow, um, yeah, just wish me luck, I guess. Wish me luck that I can sell this beast of a computer and get a Mac Mini. I never had a Mac Mini, uh, but it really seems to be the right thing for me. I would save so much money, and I could put the money for just spend it for something else. It's tough times anyways, and I don't need this MacBook Pro 16-inch. And also, what I learned is that I really don't use it that much on the go. I mean, it would be cool to have the MacBook Pro. Sorry, the M1 and MacBook Pro, or even the MacBook Air. But I think if I would decide to spend that kind of money, then I would go with the Pro version, just because I believe in that it makes sense to have a fan in your system, and be happy when you don't have when you then don't need it. But if you need it, it's good to have a fan. I don't like when computer parts get too hot, and I don't know, this MacBook Pro, which I'm running now, it's getting so hot. It doesn't feel good. I mean, I used to build my PCs since I was a teenager, young boy, and that was one of my main goals. The machine has to be kind of quiet and cannot get super hot. I mean, this is important. I don't want things to get too hot. It's not good for the lifespan. So I don't know. That's my problem with this MacBook Pro 16-inch. It's too loud and too hot. I will have to decide if I go with 13-inch MacBook Pro, but I think right now, because I wanted to have a second system anyways, I most probably would go with a Mac Mini, and if I see that I need it, upgrade to a more powerful MacBook Pro next year somewhere. I mean, I do photos and videos for a living, and it's good to have a MacBook Pro with you sometimes. You're more flexible. You can show the clients the photos and so on. But with in these crazy times, it's not like we can really work normally. It's you're not supposed to see the people, more or less, and it's tough times. So I will see. Maybe I'm lucky and somebody will pay a somewhat good price for my 16-inch MacBook Pro, and then I will go with the Mac Mini. I would be happy to have a Mac Mini. I mean, I'm thinking it's so tiny, it's so small. I could just bring it anywhere I want. I mean, the other thing, of course, which is Apple, they charge you a lot for the RAM upgrade, and they charge you a lot for SSD and disk space. I mean, I don't like that. I really don't like that. I think it's good that they offer, a kind of really low base model, uh, because I think it helps to reduce a lot of waste. Because most of the people, they just don't need the space, that they don't need the extra RAM. They, you know, they don't need it. It's just a waste of resources. So I kind of like it that they offer very low specs, kind of, because the system runs well, and everybody will be happy. Although I have to say, if you're one of the people who enjoys to have, I don't know, like me, I don't know how many open Chrome tabs I have, but too many. Uh, I think you will hit a limit very soon on the 8 GB RAM models. So, but again, either you discipline and you just you're happy with 10 open tabs, and save 200 something bucks, or you spend it and then you have, maybe you can open, I don't know, 30 or 40 tabs. I don't know. I'm not sure how what the performance will be on the MM1 chip, because it shares the memory. So will you be able to have that many tabs open and do something like video editing? I don't know, but I think it's better to go cheap this time, to just get the base model, be the MacBook Air, which is really tempting because it's fanless, and I don't know, there is something about it to have a quiet system, uh, and it's $1,000. Or you go really cheap and just, I mean, if you have a monitor at home and mouse and keyboard, so that you don't have to invest in extra stuff like I have, I probably would go with the Mac Mini. Well, kind of hard to decide for me yet. But yeah, about the Mac Mini, it's so tiny that you could easily carry it with you, and even you could. I mean, when you go on vacation or I don't know. Sometimes I have to drive to the city and work for the city, maybe stay for a day or something. I could bring a small monitor, my keyboard and mouse, and the Mac Mini. I mean, it's, well, of course, it's a little bit more inconvenient than a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro, but I don't know. In these crazy times, I think I would go with the Mac Mini and have it in future as a second system. I noticed one of my main problems when I'm editing on the MacBook Pro 16-inch is synchronizing multicam links. So if I have 3 or 4 camera angles, and unfortunately not all of my cameras are able to record straight for 2 hours, so the files are broken up into pieces, and it becomes really challenging for this machine to synchronize all the files together. So I hope that that's improved on the M1 chip. I could imagine that it's much more improved on that because of the, how they call neural learning, whatever they call it. But I thought for myself, even before this announcement of the new M1 chip, that I should get a second system. That way I could edit on some video on my laptop and have a second system where just work on synchronizing all the files together. Because that sometimes when I have material from a whole day shooting or something, it takes me a lot of time to fuse it all together, to synchronize it all together. And it would be a great time saver to have a second system where the one I could do the synchronizing on the one system and do the editing of other project, of other library on the other system. Because when I'm synchronizing a multicam clip on my MacBook Pro 16-inch, it's basically, you cannot really do something else on it, at least not in Final Cut. Like Final Cut doesn't, that's not the background task. This, it just blocks your system. And then what happens usually is that I spend, time on YouTube trying to look something up, or I don't know, on some websites, and it's a productivity killer. It's really a productivity killer. First of all, it takes time. Second of all, it makes me lose my attention and my workflow. So yeah, let's see. If you're bored and you watched all this and you have an opinion, please feel free to leave me a comment. Would love to hear from you. And thank you for watching. I hope the audio quality was okay. I'm just using the MacBook Pro as it is, so no fancy setup right now. But yeah, thank you. Peace. See you.